confidence in each other that we can get this job done.
Every guy should be doing a self-check.
You right, Santana Moss is great.
It is on to Kansas City. We got a Monday Night Football matchup against the Chiefs. And of course, we are previewing all of that with the best crew in Commander's Land. And then Logan and Santana, they'll go behind enemy lines on this edition of the Film Room. And of course, we gotta bring our Hall of Famer, London Fletcher, to pull up on us and talk all about Monday Night Football and setting the tone. How can we get off to a fast start? Our guys will tell you that. All that and more right now on Command Center. Welcome into Command Center from the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. I'm here with some great guys. Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, and Logan Paulson. I'm your host, Brian Colbert Jr. And fellas, we just heard the news. It's been a few days now, but we just heard it. Yeah. Jaden Daniels will not be playing on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tanner, when you first hear that news, what comes to mind?
You know, I was speculating. I think when I saw the hamstring injury in the game, I done dealt with them. You know, I know how them hamstrings is, but don't matter if you feel good at that moment, you give it a little rest, and then you say, oh, okay, now I know what's going on back here. So I didn't anticipate him really playing after I saw the injury, but also I didn't know how severe it was. Yeah. So just knowing now that he's not playing, it's probably a little worse than what I imagined it to be.
And Fred and Logan, we got to imagine this affects the game quite a lot. Marcus Mariota will be stepping up to start again, but we've seen him step up before, Fred. How do you feel this affects the game?
Well, it affects the game plan, but luckily, these guys are cut from the same cloth. Both of them are runners, both of them are precision passers. I think nothing really changes, but the threat of Jaden Daniels is a real threat. All right, not taking anything from Mariota. It's just, he ain't Jedi 5, all right? But can he fill in this game? Can he go win this game? Most definitely he can.
So what I would say is I think the threat changes, right? I think there's still a threat there, and I think the running aspect of the quarterback on first and second down increases while the scrambling probably decreases. I think you get a guy who knows the offense. Cliff understands how to call a game for him, and I think that we talked about that magic ball handling, right?
He can point guard.
Yeah.
He's one of the best point guards in the league.
I think that's a big advantage this week.
And fellas, we're going to talk a lot about this matchup a little later, but first things first, we need to hear from our head coach, Dan Quinn.
Confirmed like he will be out this week and Marcus will start. I'd said, I think, it was Monday, I'm getting my days mixed up, but we knew it wasn't going to be significant, meaning long, but also not well enough to say, okay, in 6 days, it's ready to go based on speed and how you would, handle this type of injury. So all of the week will be focused for him on the rehab in hopes of the following week. And so I'll assess that next week, but as opposed to some practice, some not, just put all of it, all the time and effort into that.
Now, the Chiefs' defense is top 5 in the league for yards per game allowed and turnovers. Meanwhile, the Kansas City's offense, led by quarterback Patrick Mahomes, sits in the top 10 for total yards per game and points per game. Washington is facing another high-powered offense on Monday night. So let's welcome in future Hall of Famer in London Fletcher. This is your can't miss moment presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Well, we lost Logan Paulson and Tanner. They're getting ready for the Film Room. However, we gained a Hall of Famer in our guy, London Fletcher, here to help me and Fred talk about our defense a little bit. In London, we were talking about it before we got started. Patrick Mahomes, that is a bad man right there. We need to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. How can our defensive front do that?
Yeah, no, it's going to be key to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. One thing when you look at us, how can we manufacture pressure? Maybe you go with some overload blitzes, some simulated pressures, some different types of coverages to try to get Patrick Mahomes to hold on the football just a little bit longer. The offensive line in Kansas City, there's some opportunities to win those battles, but the coverage has to be great on the back end. You can't lose early in the coverage aspect and allow Patrick to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But if you're Joe Witt Jr. and the defensive coaching staff, you're trying to figure out ways, especially losing Dorrance Armstrong, who was our top pass rusher. How can we manufacture pressure? It wouldn't surprise me if you see more Frankie Louvu blitzing off the line of scrimmage, seeing Bobby Wagner blitzing more up the middle. Maybe you send a sandwich drill. Maybe you send some safety blitz. Just different things to try to mix and match, overwhelm their protection. Because otherwise, if you don't get pressure on him, he'll pick you apart.
But they're missing a couple of offensive linemen. That's the good part about it. Creed Humphreys at the center could be one of the best center, if not the best center in football. Besides him, it's been a rotation at those other positions, at tackle, at guard. So, like London said, if we can use speed and bring Mikey off the edge, if we can play some cover 2 and just show him some different looks time and time again to get him off his spot. But then I ask myself, do you really want to get Patrick Mahomes off his spot? Because he makes plays outside of the play also.
I'm glad you brought up not allowing him to get outside the pocket or making plays outside the pocket. It's going to be critical that you keep your edges firm. And not just in running, stopping the run, but rushing the quarterback. So often, Patrick was able to get outside the pocket where you've had a defensive end take an inside pass rush move, and the tackle maybe doesn't get out there quick enough to keep Patrick Mahomes in that pocket. Maybe you see a little bit more fire zone standpoint where you bring in a 5th rusher, but you're playing more zone coverage where you got eyes on him because Patrick, he's their second leading rusher as well, and he can hurt you with his leg scramble.
And that rush you were talking about, that sugar rush where you rush up the field but don't turn the corner. I get right here and I stay. And I wait on him. And I want to see Daron Payne do what he did last time. Get them hands up. PBUs, they take away plays. People don't understand how important it is for D linemen to get their hands up, knock their ball down. It changes a lot.
And talk about Patrick Mahomes, somebody that he has a great familiarity with, somebody that he leans on a lot is a guy in Travis Kelce. Leads the team in receiving yards right now. We have struggled a little bit against the tight end. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. London, how can we keep Travis Kelce from being a big part of what the Chiefs are trying to do?
Well, the Chiefs, obviously he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Travis is very crafty as a route runner. He's not going to blow by you per se, play in and play out, but he's going to be crafty, kind of like Zach Ertz. Being able to be savvy with his route running, just understanding that, not guessing routes, maybe getting up trying to disrupt him a little bit, just trying to mix up who's covering him. Don't give him a steady dose of anything. Like, it's not going to be a steady dose of man-to-man. It's not going to be a steady dose of zone coverage. It's not going to be a steady dose of any type of thing, to where you have him thinking as he's running his routes as well.
Well, they all option routes. Let's be honest. It's an option route with him and the quarterback tied together on the screen. They feel each other. They know. They just know if you playing inside, he going out. If you playing outside, he going in. So can you play that game with him? And do you want to get somebody and put right in his face and say, you know what, you're going to have to beat me a mano. That's the question.
And sometimes it might be a situation where you may double him. You just made me think about when you talk about putting hands on him right away. New England, when they played the Chiefs, when Travis was at his heyday, a lot of times what they would do, they put a defensive end right in front of him. He disrupts him, slow his release down, and then he goes. Then he releases him to somebody else. Now you're not going to be great on the pass rush, but they're saying, "Hey, we're going to disrupt the timing of the route between Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes."
Always great having you on the show, Big Fletcher. I feel like you bring out the best out of Fred. Look how excited he is, man.
I'm surprised he's not sweating.
We still got some time.
Hey, he's around all this greatness. I know it makes him nervous.
You right, Santana Moss is great.
That's I said, around a bunch of greatness.
Well, before this greatness leaves this set, we do got to show love to some greatness on our defensive side of the ball. It's time for Too Good, presented by Campbell's Chunky. Soup that eats like a meal in London. Fred, this guy that's been too good is no other than Daron Payne. Y'all mentioned him earlier. What a season Daron's had.
Most definitely. Like, he's doing it everything. He's getting sacks. He's getting pressure. He's knocking balls down. That's a DB's best friend right there. Oh, by the way, I can also score too if you need
it. Exactly. And he's winning one-on-one matchups, not staying blocked. If you try to block him one-on-one, he's been outstanding. He's pass rushing, getting his hands up to deflect passes. And he's been very instinctive when teams have tried to run screens against us. That's the aspect of his game that I've really seen the maturation with Daron Payne.
One thing we've seen with Daron Payne, he has been too good, fellas. Now let's take a look at his numbers so far this season. Now this is his 8th season with Washington. He has 26 tackles this season with 5 pass deflections, 1 sack, and a blocked field goal. Now, for more on this Chiefs offense, let's send it to the film room with Logan Paulson and Santana Moss. This is your best seat in the house, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Take it away, Logan.
All right, let's look at Daron Payne's numbers, and a guy that we hope can put a little pressure on this offense, and specifically, Tana, this guy back here, number 15, man, he is playing some good football. He's always been playing some. So I'm going to be honest with you. They said, hey, break down this offense, right? And I was like, okay, looking at all these playmakers, I'm like, really the guy that drives the ship is 15 back here.
1-5.
And I think this is a perfect example of what he's doing, right? We're getting a little play action pass. We're going to get kind of like this heat concept, Tanny. Remember that? Kind of this uncover here, little hitch. At the start of this play, though, everybody's covered, right?
Everybody.
At the top of his drop, there's nowhere to go with the football, right? He's looking around. And then this is what makes him so special, Tana. This ability to kind of step up in the pocket. It looks like he's going to scramble. What an awareness of the line of scrimmage here. And then get this ball out for an explosive play.
Right there. I mean, just a flick of the wrist.
Yeah. Flick of the wrist, and it's as an off. You've played with scrambling quarterbacks. It just puts so much stretch on the defense.
You know, one of the things about this is what you love in having a guy that just understands the awareness of the field, the coverage, and just knowing that my guy's going to be at that spot.
Yeah.
So as long as I see what I want to see, I'm throwing it to that area and I'm going to trust in him.
And it's really one of these things where it's like he's off balance, he's jumping, he's doing something crazy, and then he just delivers that ball perfectly to the spot, like you're saying, Tana. It's just the playmaking ability that he brings all the time. So this is one example, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's every single game. Every single time they need a big play, he's the guy that provides it. I mean, everyone remembers this game. This was a couple weeks ago. This is a big moment in the game. They're driving down the field to go score here. And they get a little bit of pressure, Detroit does, right? And he gets a little turnaround. You can see his vision cone. He's trying to check the football down there. It's not ready. Get a free runner by Aiden Hutchinson. Gets spun around. You're like, oh, the play's done. Play's over. Nope. I'm going to keep my balance. Whip this out to Hollywood bound for an explosive play. And you see it here, Tana.
Yeah.
Just his ability to elevate this offense down in and down out.
This is one of the things that you tell your defense. That's why we need to swarm. You know, when you're sending guys, when you have guys that's getting after those guys up front, this is where I want to see them have the kind of game that we saw week one. They have to be very disruptive because we know in the back end, I don't care who you are back there, those guys are going to get open.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look at this, Tana, and I look at this linebacker right here. His eyes are on Mahomes, and watch when Mahomes starts to run. He starts stepping up. We just make this throwing window even bigger for him to make this play here. Like it's
Red Sea.
It's his ability to move and extend plays that make him in this offense so incredibly dangerous. And then the other thing, Tana, is they have such good timing, right? They're going to bring a fire zone here. They're going to bring 4 rushers on the line of scrimmage. They're going to blitz this linebacker. He is untouched. This should be a sack, fumble, whatever you want here. They're going to run a little spot concept here with Travis Kelce on I think it's a corner, and he's going to run a flat. Watch the space. It's a tight window, Tana. But they have got so many banked reps together. Ball is out. I don't care if it's a free runner. And then this ends up being a 10-yard gain on second down.
Anticipation at its finest. It's the quarterback who knows where you need to be at, knows that he can trust his guy being there, and then knowing that if you snooze, you will lose.
Yeah, and again, the timing, the chemistry he's got with his guys. And there's really not a lot of guys in this offense, Tana, that can win one-on-one matchups. Like Kelce's gotten a little bit older.
Yeah.
All the other guys are kind of role players. But all of a sudden, Rashid Rice is back in the lineup.
There go that man with the cape.
And he's the guy that can win in man-to-man coverage. But check this out, Tanner. We're going to get a little kind of here at the top of this. Little stutter to go here. Bop, break it off. And then talk about the ball placement, Tanner.
Ball placement. And then one of the things I was looking at, I was trying to see how effective is he still coming off a knee injury. And to me, he seems to still have that quick twitch.
Yeah.
They didn't stretch the field with him last week because they didn't need to.
Yeah.
They knew that they can beat you in space. And when you can beat a guy in space and you got a guy with precision at quarterback, cancel Christmas.
And I'm glad you said that, Tanner, because he can win outside, he can win inside. It's really about where can your best man player, and it's like the Jackson Smith and Jigbas, all these kind of new age receiver, I can beat you wherever. So finding out where he's at is going to be really, really important. But it all starts with number 15, man. We got to do everything, all 11, to slow him down, man.
Let's do.
Again, can't wait to watch this game. Can't wait to watch him try to get that done. Brian, back to you.
Let's take a closer look at the numbers behind this matchup. It's time for Top 5, presented by UA Local 5 Plumbers, protecting the health of the nation's capital since 1890. And taking a look at these two offices through the first 7 weeks of this season. KC is top 5 in the league in total yards per game. Washington is second in the league in rushing yards per game. And both teams are in the top 10 for points per game. Now, this will be the first primetime matchup between the Chiefs and Commanders since 2017. Both teams with multiple primetime games this season, and both teams are playing for a second time on Monday Night Football. It's time for Securing the W, presented by Hercules Fits. Security in every job, fellas. We talked about it off the top a little bit. Jaden Daniels not able to play in this game. It will be Marcus Mariota. Logan, gotta imagine that affects this game a lot. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think it's, obviously this is why you pay Marcus all that money this offseason, right? Because that experience is worth something. And the experience with the offense, the experience with the players. And the other thing that I think is important is Cliff's relationship to him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to know how to call plays to maximize his skill set, Fred. Because I've been with coordinators that say, hey, man, Logan's bad at this, but he's good at this. Let's feed him what he's good at. And I think that's really the value here is, again, getting him in the offense, getting him comfortable, and putting him in the best position to be successful.
In the more words of one bird, man, put some respect on Marcus Mariota's name. All right? Raise my hand if I was the number 2 pick. Raise your hand if you won the Heisman. Raise your hand if you just started 80 games in this league. That's you, Marcus Mariota. Yes, we got confidence in Marcus Mariota. And I think, like you said with Cliff, nothing changes in the offense. The question is, what else do we get back to help him move forward?
And I think the other thing, too, is he's great at that zone read. And talk about the layer and the nuance that adds to the offense. I think it's really, really important to note that as well.
His ball handling is some of the best ball handling I've ever seen in NFL.
Yeah, I think we've been here before. I think it's not something that we're going to be alarmed about now that we know that Jaden's going to be down again. And, all the guys are comfortable knowing that he can come out there and take command of the offense. So I'm okay just knowing that, hey, at least we have somebody that we can kind of rest assured that knows what we're doing.
And you said been here before, Tanner. You specifically have been here before. You were talking about it earlier, what it's like when you know that backup quarterback's playing. And it is different, right? We know Marcus Mariota's ready. However, those receivers, it does affect them. Can you put a light on how that does affect them and how that affects preparation for this game knowing we got a backup quarterback?
There's different strokes for different folks. Don't get it twisted now. And I've had advantages from some guys that was backups, and I had disadvantages from some guys that was backup. When I look at a Marcus Mariota is an advantage. These guys understand that he's going to get them the ball. He's going to be a veteran. He's a pro at quarterback. He's not a guy that you got to sit in there and worry about. Now, there's some guys when you have a guy down, you're like, well, damn, I got to get used to this guy ball. It don't come the way I like it. No, Marcus can put that ball up there with some of the best of them. So I feel like we do have an advantage in that receiver room, knowing that we got a guy that's going to give us an opportunity, and that's all we need.
And it's like, when I was in Atlanta with Matt Ryan and Matt Schaub, Matt Schaub been in the league for 15 years. So you get him out in the huddle and you're like, you feel like you're in good hands. You feel his confidence. You feel his mastery of the offense. And I think, again, that's what Marcus brings. It's not like some second-year, third-year guy where you've got to chaperone that player. He can guide the offense.
We can expect Marcus to go out there and play the kind of football that we want to see come Monday night. You know what I mean? He's going to come with that mindset of knowing, look, this is my job right now to hold down for the young 5 until he's back. But I'm going to go out here and lead these boys.
And Fred, you got to imagine our run game is going to be something that helps Marcus Mariota get comfortable. But Marcus Mariota can also affect the run game. He helps the run game as well.
He got legs of his own. The great thing about it is when you call the play and the play doesn't work itself out, he can go get you a first down with his legs. He's used to it when the play. The thing that I love about him, if I'm a receiver, the game is already slowed down with him. Now his running ability opens it up for Bill. It makes that RPO that much more realistic. The one thing I always say, I hate when offenses run RPOs with a quarterback that's not a threat. Our guy's a threat. That threat opens up lanes. When you open up that lane and you give a $100 bill a chance to get down the field, it changes everything.
So, Fred, it sounds like you think we're going to see a lot of Marcus Mariota run the ball.
No, I just feel like between him and Bill, I put it like this, we have to weaponize the run game defensively. To keep Patrick Mahomes on that sideline, we need 14, 12, 10-play drives that allows us to just shorten this game and make it ugly.
And Fred mentioned this, so let's flip the ball, right? Because on our defensive side, y'all talked about it in the film room a little bit, about all these weapons the Chief has. How can we slow down this receiver core who's getting healthy and stronger, it seems, every week?
Yeah, for me, it's not so much about the receiving core, it's about Patrick Mahomes. I think the receivers are good players, right? They're talented, they're good athletes, they can run. But there's nobody there you're like, oh my gosh, I think Rashid Rice maybe falls in that category. Travis Kelce's kind of at the tail end of that. But it's Patrick Mahomes, right? It's his ability to extend plays, get the football where it's supposed to be, the ball placement, the man zone reads. He's an excellent football player. And so to me, it's can you disrupt his process with pressure, with different coverage structures? It's going to take a whole group, all 11, to get that done.
And Tanner Logan mentioned Travis Kelce, and we know he's an older guy. However, he still leads them in receiving yards. He's still a weapon that they like to use, and we have had some issues covering the tight end lately, man. How can we keep that from happening out in Kansas City?
By not bringing it up. No, I'm just being real. Honestly, man, we got to go out there and earn our keep. You know what I mean? We can sit here and talk about the pressures. We can sit here and talk about the coverages. We've been doing that week after week after week. Man to man, we got to go out there and earn our keep. So I'm expecting these guys to understand, man, when they take a look at themselves this week, especially after that tough loss against the Cowboys, every guy should be doing a self-check. Say, look here, man, I got to go out there and do better. I know whatever these coaches teaching me, I got to go out there and make it my duty to go out there and be efficient so I can give the other guys a chance for us to be successful.
And you mentioned those other guys. We know that our wide receiver room is a little depleted right now, but we know guys like Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane are ready to step up. And speaking of Jalen Lane, it's time for your winning numbers brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And these winning numbers are no other than our punt return numbers for our rookie wide receiver, Jalen Lane. 14 punt returns, 194 punt return yards, and a punt return touchdown in week 3 versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I had a chance to catch up with our rookie on this week's Next Man Up podcast, dropping this Friday. Let's take a sneak peek. And like I said, you look good this season, but it's not just being a receiver, because that's something you're still working towards. Yeah. But that special teams aspect, you and Luke have been able to become one of the better return tandems that we've seen in this league, man. How cool has that been to be able to step into a role that maybe you necessarily didn't know that you would be playing in and be able to rise to the occasion?
Yeah, it's real cool, man. You know, I feel like we take a lot of pride in special teams, just on the team, and you can just see it by the energy and the effort that the guys provide. No matter kickoff return, punt return, just in the return game, the guys, they go out and bust their tails. And, me and Luke, we kind of just feed off that Debo early in the season. You know, it's just try to bring that spark to the team.
Fellas, a big game, Monday Night Football, and here's how the fans can tune in to our matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. You can watch that on ABC or on ESPN. But before that, you got to make sure you tune into the Commanders' YouTube, Facebook, and X for Command Center Game Day Live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's with myself, Santana Moss, and Hall of Famer Brian Mitchell. And then during the game, you can listen to the radio broadcast on Big 100. That's London Fletcher, Graham Weinstein, and the legend Logan Paulson. You can also listen to our Hispanic radio broadcast on Elzo with Moises and Juan. And then, of course, at the end of the game, we got you covered on Command Center Post-Game Live. Now, fellas, we got the whole crew here. So I say we run something back that we used to do back in the day. We need to get off to a fast start out in Kansas City. And I got a feeling Santana Moss is going to start us off right here. Go ahead, brother.
I'm in the start blocks already. Give it to him. Nah, seriously, I think every man, like I said before, I said it earlier today, alignment, assignment, and Logan added one, execution.
Yeah.
You know, I think that when you're out there doing your job, when you watch these guys in the past, the last few weeks, when we did that, we had the kind of outcome that we wanted to see. So I think that's how we get off to a fast start.
First of all, have confidence, something I ain't never lacked. That's what you need
for better and for worse.
You got to have confidence in your coach's play call.
Yeah.
We got to have confidence in each other. And while the world watching, while our quarterback ain't there, confidence in each other that we can get this job done. So if you believe, you can achieve it.
I thought I just heard of Martin Luther King speech. Listen, it's all about, like you mentioned, I like the confidence standpoint, but at the end of the day, guys have to go in there and make plays. You can't go in there pressing, try to do too much. Monday Night Football, lights are on, everybody wants to make a play.
Yeah.
But do your job. Attention to details. Yeah. Play in and play out. We do those things, and we will get off to a fast start.
Yeah, to me, it's got to be situational football. And it kind of goes with what you guys have all said, right? Yeah. When we get that 3rd and 8 on defense, we got to win the down, right? Yeah. When we get that 3rd and 4 on offense, we got to get that ball completed, sustain the drive, and high-level execution in those critical moments, to me, is the thing that's going to be the differential.
How about this? We win the coin toss, Tanner.
Yeah.
Win the coin toss, and we take it. We start the game off on offense.
Yeah. Offensive that's right. That's the way not to act like a granddad. I know you got candy corn in your pocket.
There's nothing more that needs to be said. I'm here with all the fellas. You know our names. Y'all know what we do. Just make sure you tune into Command Center Game Day Live, 7 p.m. on Monday night when we take on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Command Center from the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. I'll let y'all Monday night. Things don't break nothing. Command Center was filmed at Big Bear AI Command Center Studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.